All right, so AI,
Yeah.
right? It's like the word on everyone's lips.
It really is.
And I think it's safe to say that in the Salesforce world, it's no different.
Definitely not.
So, Salesforce developers are naturally starting to think,
Yeah.
like, is my job on the line here? Are robots coming for me? So that's what we're going to be diving into today on Salesforcesight.
Absolutely.
We're asking the big question. Will AI replace Salesforce developers?
Yeah, that's a big one.
We've got a whole stack of articles,
Mm-hmm.
experts wing and all this kind of stuff. And we're going to try to
Cut through the noise.
cut through the noise, exactly.
Yeah.
And help everyone figure out, what this actually means for you as a Salesforce developer.
Yeah, because it's not just some far off future anymore either, right? Like AI, it's already here.
Oh, totally.
It's already happening in the Salesforce ecosystem.
Yeah.
Think about Einstein, for instance.
Right.
It's not just a cool name.
Yeah.
It's actually making a huge impact.
Yep.
One of our sources was saying that Einstein is boosting customer satisfaction by 52%?
52%?
Yeah.
That's huge.
It's huge.
So, what's the secret there?
Right.
Is it just responding quicker to customers, or is there something more to it?
It's definitely more than just speed. Einstein is really designed to kind of get into that personalization of the customer interactions, like figuring out what they need before they even know they need it, offering support proactively. That's really where the power of AI comes in.
So it's like anticipating problems before they even pop up.
Exactly.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
But okay, so what about the developers in all of this, right?
Right.
If AI is handling all of this stuff, does that mean that the developers are,
Going away?
Yeah.
Not quite.
Okay.
All of our sources are actually pretty clear on this one.
Okay.
Salesforce developers are still absolutely essential, even with all this AI stuff coming up.
So AI isn't replacing them entirely?
No.
Okay, so let's break down why are developers still so important in this world that's becoming so AI-driven?
Well, one of the key reasons is that, developers, they're the ones building the custom solutions that businesses need.
Okay.
And they speak the language of Salesforce.
Right.
Fluent.
Text, Visual Force, all that
Yeah,
stuff.
Apex, Visual Force, Lightning, Web Components. It's a whole world that AI hasn't quite grasped yet.
So it's like AI can maybe, put together some basic lines of code.
Right.
But it can't take that and understand a business and build out a whole solution.
Exactly. It's just not there yet.
Okay.
And also we can't forget about integrations.
Right.
Salesforce, it's almost never just like a standalone thing. It's got to work with all these other systems.
It's all connected.
Yeah, and the developers are the ones making sure that all of those pieces work together.
Right.
And that takes problem solving, strategic thinking, things that AI hasn't really mastered yet.
And the human touch. Right. Like understanding how a business actually operates and then coming up with creative solutions.
Yeah, all that gray area stuff.
Right. And that's still, a human thing.
Very much so.
In fact, one of our sources, a McKinsey study, actually said that only about 40% of tasks are automatable.
Wow.
And the stuff that requires creativity and those complex decisions, that's still totally a human domain.
It makes sense.
Yeah. So developers, they're still crucial.
They are.
But AI is definitely changing the game.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
So let's talk about how it's becoming a tool for developers.
A powerful tool.
Yeah.
So we're seeing things like Einstein GPT coming up and GitHub Copilot. And these are tools that are designed to automate some of those routine tasks that developers face all the time.
So is AI like writing code for developers now?
Well, yeah, in a way. Like Copilot can generate code and suggest improvements and even, find bugs.
Cat bugs?
Yeah. It's like having an AI coding buddy working right next to you.
That's amazing. So does that mean developers can just kick back and let the AI do all the work?
Not quite.
Okay.
While these AI tools can definitely make things a lot easier and, boost your productivity, human oversight is still super important.
Okay.
Developers still need to understand what AI can and can't do.
Right.
They got to validate the output, make sure it actually aligns with, the project goals.
So it's like a super smart assistant, but not a replacement.
Exactly.
So it's all about working smarter, not harder.
I like that.
But like any powerful tool, AI, it comes with its own caveats, right?
Oh, for sure.
Okay. So what are some of those limitations that we need to keep in mind?
Well, one of the big ones that a lot of the articles brought up is context.
Oh, yeah.
Like AI-generated code, it might not always get the nuances of what a company really needs, their specific goals and all that.
Right. It's not thinking about the bigger picture.
Exactly.
So the developer still needs to make sure that whatever the AI is putting out is actually going to,
Right.
solve the problem.
Absolutely.
Okay, what else?
Another thing that was mentioned a lot was accuracy. AI solutions, they're not perfect.
Right.
And there's always a chance for errors.
Well,
So
they're not foolproof.
yeah, so it's still really important for humans to be double checking the AI's work.
Yeah, just making sure everything's actually on track.
Mm-hmm.
So it seems like, AI is this powerful tool.
Yeah,
It could totally revolutionize the way developers work.
totally.
But it's not about replacing humans altogether.
No.
It's more about that collaboration
Yeah,
and using AI strategically.
exactly, like to augment human capabilities.
Right. So it's like we're working with the AI, not against it.
Yeah, a partnership.
Okay, so speaking of strategy, though, we got to talk about Salesforce itself,
Right.
right? Because there's been some pretty big headlines recently about Salesforce's stance on AI and, how it's impacting hiring.
Yeah, a lot of people are talking about that.
So let's dive into that.
Okay, let's do it. You're talking about Marc Benioff's comments, right?
Yeah.
When he was on that podcast?
Yeah, the one where he said that Salesforce might not be hiring more software engineers this year.
Yeah.
I mean, that's got to send some shockwaves through the developer community.
Oh, for sure.
What exactly did he say? And what was his reasoning behind that?
Well, he basically said that they're seeing a massive increase in productivity
Yep.
because of AI.
Right.
And he cited a 30% boost.
30%.
Yeah, in engineering productivity.
That's a lot.
It's huge.
So does that mean that they're turning their backs on developers completely?
No, not at all.
Okay.
It's important to remember that he said Noman might not be hiring more engineers.
Right.
He didn't say they were laying off existing ones.
Right.
And while they might be slowing down hiring in engineering, they're actually ramping up hiring in other areas like sales.
Okay.
They're looking to bring on a ton of new sales professionals.
So it's more of a shift in focus then.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, that makes sense.
Right.
They need people to sell all these amazing AI-powered solutions
Right.
that the developers are building. So they're not abandoning ship. They're just,
Adjusting the sales.
yeah, adjusting the sales.
And actually, the CEO of Salesforce India, Arundhati Bhattacharya,
Yeah.
she really emphasized that, AI, it's meant to complement humans,
Okay.
not replace them.
Right.
So it's about automating those repetitive tasks that nobody really wants to do.
Right.
And letting people focus on the strategic, creative, complex work.
So it's like, don't fear the robots, learn to work with them.
That's a good way to put it.
Okay, so what does that actually look like? How is AI actually changing the game for Salesforce developers on a day-to-day basis?
Well, one article highlighted a really cool example with Salesforce's own Einstein GPT.
Okay.
And this tool, it can analyze tons of data and then give developers these aha insights
Yeah.
that help them optimize their code.
So it's like an AI mentor,
Yeah, like looking over your shoulder and giving you tips.
helping you write better code.
Exactly.
That's cool.
Yeah, and then there's GitHub Copilot, which we
yeah.
talked about earlier,
Yeah. Which is like an AI coding buddy.
right?
And developers using Copilot are reportedly coding up to 55% faster.
55% faster.
That's a huge difference.
That's incredible. Imagine how much more you could get done.
I know, right?
So it sounds like AI is really living up to the hype in terms of making developers' lives easier.
It really seems that way.
But are there any downsides? Any risks or concerns that developers should be thinking about?
Oh, for sure. I mean, one thing that came up in several articles is this idea of over-reliance on AI.
Okay.
These tools can be incredibly helpful.
Yeah.
But it's important for developers to make sure they're not losing those core coding skills.
Right. You don't want to forget how to do the basics.
Exactly. You don't want to become too dependent on AI to do all the thinking for you.
So it's all about finding that balance.
Yes. Finding that sweet spot.
Leveraging AI, but not losing those fundamental skills.
Exactly.
Okay, what else?
Another potential risk is this thing called the black box problem.
Okay, I've heard of that. Yeah, so with some of these AI tools, it's hard to tell how they're actually arriving at their suggestions or solutions.
Yeah.
And this lack of transparency can be a little bit worrying.
Yeah, especially if you're working on something mission critical.
Yeah, you don't want to blindly trust a system that you don't really understand.
Right, especially when you're dealing with sensitive data or, complex business processes.
Exactly. You need to be able to understand and explain the logic behind the code.
So it's not just about what the AI is doing, but also how it's doing it.
Yeah, Transparency is key.
Okay, so we've talked about the potential benefits of AI, the risks.
Mm-hmm.
It seems clear that it's here to stay.
Oh, definitely.
So the big question now is, what does this mean for the future of Salesforce developers?
Right.
Will AI eventually take over? Or is there a way for humans and AI to kind of coexist and thrive together?
That's the big question everyone wants to know the answer to.
All right, so let's explore that next. Okay, so we talked about, the good and the bad, the potential and the risks of AI and Salesforce development. But the question that everyone's asking is, what does the future actually hold for Salesforce developers in this AI-driven world?
Yeah. Where do we go from here?
Right.
Well, the good news is that the articles we looked at seem to agree that AI is not going to make developers obsolete.
So it's not humans versus robots.
No,
it's more like a collaboration.
Yeah, it's more like a partnership. Humans and AI working together.
I like that partnership.
Yeah.
So what does that actually look like, in practice?
Well, a lot of the articles talk about this shift from just pure coding to a more strategic kind of architectural role.
Okay.
So developers will be less focused on, writing every single line of code.
Right.
And more on designing and orchestrating, these complex systems.
Okay.
Using AI as a tool.
So instead of being just builders, they're more like architects.
Yeah, exactly.
Overseeing the grand design and then using AI to kind of like handle the heavy lifting.
I like that analogy.
So it seems like AI could actually free up developers to be more creative and focus on the things that they really enjoy about the work.
Exactly. And it opens up all these new possibilities for them to solve bigger problems,
Yeah.
design more innovative solutions, and ultimately deliver more value to their clients.
So to really thrive in this new world, developers are going to need to adapt.
Yeah.
Learn some new skills.
Oh, for sure.
What are some of those skills that are going to be in demand?
Well, data science and machine learning are at the top of the list.
That makes sense.
Yeah. As AI becomes more integrated into Salesforce, developers who understand data and can build AI-powered solutions, they're going to be in high demand.
Because AI is all about data.
It is.
So you got to be able to, work with that data and understand it.
Yeah, absolutely.
What else?
Integration is another big one.
Okay.
Salesforce is all about connecting different systems.
Yeah.
And that includes AI, so developers who can really integrate AI solutions into complex Salesforce environments.
Yeah, it's like being a master connector.
Exactly.
Making sure all the pieces fit together.
Right.
And then, of course, understanding and working with those AI-powered tools.
Right.
Like Einstein GPT.
Yeah.
GitHub Copilot, all of that good stuff.
So it's all about continuous learning.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Staying ahead of the curve.
Absolutely.
But beyond those technical skills, are there other qualities that developers should be thinking about?
Well, one thing that came up a lot was adaptability.
Okay.
And a willingness to embrace change,
Right, because it's moving so fast.
It is. This AI landscape is constantly evolving. So developers who are comfortable learning new things and adapting to new technologies are going to thrive.
So it's not just about what you know.
Yeah.
It's about how you learn.
Exactly.
And how you adapt.
Yeah, having that growth mindset.
Right, being open to new possibilities.
Yeah.
That's great advice for anyone, really.
It is.
Not just developers.
And let's not forget about those human skills.
Right.
Creativity.
Yeah.
Problem solving, critical thinking, communication, all of those things. Those are always going to be important.
They are. And they're going to be even more valuable in a world where AI is handling a lot of those routine tasks.
So it's a reminder that even though AI can automate certain things, it's the human element that brings, the ingenuity, the empathy, strategic vision.
Absolutely. It's that human touch that really makes a difference.
So I think we've covered a lot of ground today.
We have.
We've talked about the potential of AI, the challenges and the opportunities. And I think the main takeaway here is that the future of Salesforce development is not about fearing AI.
No.
It's about embracing it.
Yeah.
And using it to our advantage.
To enhance our capability.
To become better developers.
Exactly.
So to all the Salesforce developers out there, don't be intimidated by AI. Embrace it. Learn from it.
Yeah.
Use it to level up your skills.
Absolutely.
And really, take your career to the next level.
Yeah. The future is bright.
It is.
And you have the power to shape it.
And as you're navigating this new world, always remember to ask those why questions.
That's so important.
Why are we building this solution? What problem are we trying to solve? How can we use AI to make something truly innovative and valuable?
Those are the questions that are going to guide us
to
success in this age of AI.
Well said. Well, thanks for joining us on this deep dive into AI and Salesforce development.
It's been a pleasure.
We hope you found it insightful and inspiring, and until next time, keep learning, keep exploring, and keep pushing the boundaries of what's possible.
See you next time.